What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight we are talking episode 8 of Ascendance Live Season 3. And I am joined by recent mini winner, Carson, also from Season 2 of Live. So, Carson, what is up? Good to have you on the podcast. How crazy episode tonight, right?
It was so crazy. Like that was probably one of the craziest episodes of like Ascendance history. And I'm so excited to talk about it. I can't wait.
I will say I'm thinking through the all the episodes that I've seen. I've seen every episode of Ascendance Live. I have never seen a move like like what Josh just pulled off. Not
I
pulled off, but
know.
what he just did to him. That's crazy.
Right. Right. That was like really intense. Like I respect the move, but like damn, like that was a lot for sure.
And let's talk through it. Like he basically, the vote ties, he has at this point flipped on Billy.
Mhm.
And he outs Billy's pendant to everybody to
Mhm.
basically get people to flip on him. What do you think about that move for Josh in general?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, like, I really do think Billy was in like a good spot. And so like
Right.
I think it was smart to kind of like take that shot, but like it really made Josh appear like villainous. And so I kind of fear for Josh's future. Like I think Rory had a confessional where he talked like about how that changed his perception of Josh. So I don't know. I mean, there's definitely pros and cons, but it was a big move for sure.
Right. But the other thing that I'm thinking about is it seemed like Josh and Billy were like somewhat aligned. They were in this group of no fear, which is starting to get decimated slowly. But they seem to have the connection. They had the bond of finding the pendant together. Obviously, that's how he knew about it. And then he at the 12th place, he just goes and stabs him with that invisible knife that he has. It's crazy.
I know. It was definitely like savage as hell. Like just the whole idea of like finding it with him and then like using it against him like a few rounds later, like that's so like woo. Yeah, but
If you're in the game right now with Josh, are you like, I'm not telling him anything?
yeah, I probably wouldn't trust Josh moving forward. I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Absolutely gutted for Billy here too, because Billy, such a fun character. He had some fun confessionals where he's screaming at people, the shirtless Billy confessionals. We're gonna miss that, right?
Yes, we are. I was really like excited every time Billy came on my TV screen. Like the dude is just so good at like confessionals.
Yeah.
Like he had such a fun like personality and like you said, I think he was an amazing character. So I'm definitely bummed.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely gutted for him. And hopefully we can catch him sometime early next week in an exit interview and get all the tea about he kind of had it in his exit, he was
Mhm.
not so happy with Josh, which understandably so. Um, but another move here, we see another power played. Rocky decides to use the power to join a vote that he was not eligible to be. So his team won. So he goes and joins the vote, and he ends up tying the
Yes.
vote. So what did you think of that from Rocky's perspective in terms of getting in on it and then knowing that it's going to be a close vote and he's gonna try to tie it here?
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted to be completely transparent. Like on one hand, like I think it was really smart that Rocky like played that because it obviously had a lot of influence, right? Like it wouldn't have tied without Rocky. And Billy was a massive threat, both like socially and physically and strategically. So, yeah, definitely want to give props to Rocky for helping get Billy out. On the other hand, like I feel like Rocky is another threat, and Rocky kind of like lost a shield in a way. And I also was kind of under the influence that like Rocky and Billy were close, like prior to
Right.
this. So I worry that it might have been a little bit early for Rocky to like take that shot. But overall, I think it was a good move. Yeah.
I
I support
wonder, yeah, I wonder how much it was, because we see Rocky talk about, it's time to make a big move and not play it safe. Obviously, it's getting close to the time where we might be nearing individuals in the next round. So I wonder if it was kind of, I just want to kind of use this power here, or
it.
because it might expire soon, because the teams are not going to be in play any much longer, or if he just really just wanted to make a splash.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it was a calculated decision. Like I know
Yeah.
Rocky was talking about it with like Taylor and Ozzy. Um, so I'm guessing it was probably like a combination of both. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think he used it really well.
Yeah, he definitely used it really well, knew exactly where everybody was voting there. So he was definitely in on everything. And we see him talking to a lot of the people in the vote or the strategy portion.
Mhm.
But as Billy is leaving, obviously super emotional. He apologizes to Josh, which I thought was very classy. But we're I was on the edge of my seat, like, who the hell is he gonna give this
Yes,
pendant to? Were
yes.
you surprised with him flipping it to CJ?
I
Because it seemed
was
like CJ was surprised.
I was so shocked. Like when I tell you, like my jaw was like on the floor at so many points in this episode. Like I was like, what is going on? Like it was just so insane, like the whole way through. And I really love that Billy gave it to CJ. I feel like Billy is like team TV.
Yes.
And I love that so much. And I kind of do agree with Billy's read. I feel like CJ, like he has like these partnerships, he's talked multiple times about like his final twos, but I think like holistically, like I would kind of peg him as someone with less power than some of the other people in the cast. So I'm really hyped to see what CJ does with that power, and I feel like he has the capability to really shake up the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so fun. I think it was maybe the most iconic exit in this game's history so far. So him flipping it to CJ, CJ kind of catching it like super shocked.
He was like,
Um was awesome. I do
yeah.
agree. I think CJ is on towards the bottom of people who have, agency in the game compared to some of the other players, but now he has this tool that can get him out of a sticky situation, which will be fun. I'm glad
Yeah.
that the pendant doesn't go into the pre-jury house as a souvenir,
Mhm.
basically.
Right. Yeah.
And so, crazy vote. Where do you think? Let's rewind a little bit.
Mhm.
The show had a sponsor today. Kind of cool. Second sponsor of the season, Jake
Yeah.
Sparks. And the challenge was pretty cool to watch happen. It was really well
Mhm.
run. I thought that it was very like we could kind of see what was going on with the whole bingo stuff.
Mhm.
Um, it's fun having you on because I remember in your season you did a lot of running up and down that hill.
I
So
did, unfortunately, yes.
how did
Yeah.
you feel, for these contestants having to do that shit
Oh,
like multiple times in this competition?
there were so many people that were like out of breath, and I was like, I relate to that so hard because, like, man, that hill is steep, and there are so many comps that are just like up and down and up and down. Like, if you're a future Ascendance player, please understand, like, you will be running, like, you will be
Get your
running up and
cardio
down
in.
these
Get
hills.
your
Yes,
cardio in before.
yes. Go on the treadmill, get ready to run because it is going to happen. Um, but yeah, no, the challenge was like super well run. I love Majestic Circus. I've played it a few times, and Jake has just created like such an amazing like experience for so many people. And I'm also really elated that Ascendance has those sponsorships because I'm sure that helps out in many ways. So
Yes. So shout out to Jake Sparks. Yeah, his competition, his Majestic Circus. So I'll put a link in the bio of this video so you go check that shit out and have fun with that stuff. I'm sure it's a fun game. It looked a lot of fun. What did you think about the three captains this round? We see AJ
mm,
still not um vulnerable at all. This it's he almost coasted all the way through, potentially to the individual stage without having
Mhm.
to be eligible to be voted.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes actually. I'm really, really, really nervous for AJ moving forward because like AJ has won so many competitions and like I know for a fact like if I was playing, I would like pick up on that and be like AJ needs to go. And like I know that AJ has like talked about how he's worried about this perception. So like I'm happy that he's like cognizant of it, but I personally feel like it's not smart to win everything because that just gives you such a big like threat level. And also like especially in the early stages, like if you win comps, like you're not involved in the strategy as much. And like that can definitely like hinder your game a little bit. Um, it sounds like AJ is kind of like getting into that strategy a lot, so that makes me happy to see, but I'm a little bit apprehensive about his future just based on like threat level.
Yeah, and I with this past episode have gotten to be a little bit more nervous for AJ because when he brought it up, I think in a conversation with somebody down in the basement, he seemed visibly nervous about it. And I think that now it's starting to get in his head, and he's verbalizing it to people during the strategy portion, which I feel like I would try to keep that to myself if I were him, but now he's kind of saying it out loud to people. So it's going to be in people's heads.
It is, yeah. And also, AJ didn't want Billy to go. Like,
Yeah.
AJ wanted Billy as the shield, and he just lost his shield. So now he's even more in the spotlight moving forward.
Yes. And we see the conversation between Ozzy and AJ where he's kind of explaining, if Billy goes, then it's going to show some more light on us as big threats. But it
Mhm.
seems like if you lie to Ozzy in this game, you're fucked. You're
I
fucked.
know, I know. I love
He's
Ozzy so much. He's so good.
he's got this he has this like, air about him where it's like if you cross me, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah,
And he got him.
absolutely. Yeah, Ozzy is a very like real individual. Like he tells you how it is. He doesn't like to bullshit and like I respect that so hard in him as a player and as a person because like you just get the vibe that like you can trust him because he doesn't like lie to you unless he absolutely has to.
Yeah, which I think is great. And I think he had a great bounce back from last episode where he was in a little bit of trouble with the
Okay.
vote. Uh, but I want to talk about Sarah fighting for her life in this game, and she did that. She did that. She got the numbers eventually on her side here. So shout out to Sarah. Jake Sparks makes an appearance, and Sarah really takes home the strategy portion here, right?
Yeah. I love Sarah so much. I really was rooting for her. And like when she like broke down and like started crying, I felt so sad for her because like A, I just related to that so hard. Like this game is stressful. But then B, just like watching her be successful and like getting those votes was like truly like remarkable to see, especially given the fact that like Sarah is not connected, right? Like Sarah has not played the org. She doesn't like she's not as familiar with like the online Survivor, Big Brother, Ascendance community as Billy is. So like the fact that she was able to like get enough votes to stay is like really, really impressive. And I commend her so hard on that.
Yes. So shout out to Sarah. Obviously was able to make something happen there at the end. And I want to talk about the people who I watched all the way to the end to see who were the people that flipped their votes. And
Mhm.
it was Ali and Marcelo. They're like, I'm not going to Rocks. Um, I'm not sure if I've seen Rocks in Ascendance Live. Somebody will probably know that. But did that happen during your season?
I don't think so, no. We did have like a tie, but in terms of
Somebody
like a
flipped.
draw or like a random draw, I don't think it's happened, unless I'm mistaken.
It may have happened in episode one, but I actually don't think it's ever happened. So this might be the first in Ascendance Live. It's happened in the org a couple times, but this is the first time in Ascendance Live well, it actually hasn't happened. So this is the first time.
Yeah.
But the two people that flipped, Ali and Marcelo, do
Mm.
you think it was the right choice to let Billy go here, or would you have stuck with him here at
Mm.
Final 12 and risked your ass, I guess, in
Yeah.
a draw?
I mean, I love Billy so much, but like I really don't think I could go to Rocks or random draw only because A, he had the pendant, which Josh, villainously revealed.
Mhm.
B, it wasn't jury phase yet. Um, I mean, I assume jury is next. I guess I shouldn't be like confident, but like I assume. Um, and also just given like the chaos of the game, like generally I would try to avoid like a random draw like that. But that's just me as a player.
Yeah.
Would you have gone to random draw or
So the position of Ali and Marcelo, obviously those two were vulnerable at this point. So they would have been risking, a potential their life in the game for him. But my question of those two not flip or flipping their votes is it seems like Billy is again in that alliance of the no fear with them. He
Mhm,
still has this asset of appetitive power that he could potentially help you with, and
mhm,
he would be indebted to you in the game,
mhm.
um, if obviously you don't get rocked out. But
Right.
at this point, there's 10 people voting, right? The two of the people that would have tied would have been not eligible. The three captains would have not been eligible. And then Rocky, I think, is also safe. So you're looking at a one in like five? One in so it's like I see where there could be like, okay. And with the like you said, the impending jury, I know that's a big mile marker for a lot of people, so they kind of just want to get there. So it's
Yeah.
like, but it's just for longevity for those two, I'm a little worried because I feel like they just lost a big guy, a big number and a big ally.
Yeah. I'm also very worried for both of them. I really want to know like Ali's logic with, sticking with Billy. I know he talked about like, having Billy as like a shield, but I mean Sarah did bring up a good point that I think she mentioned that she had like protected Ali in the past. Um so yeah, it was definitely like an interesting choice on Ali's part. I don't know,
I
did you pick up on why like what his like reasoning was?
so what Ali's reasoning was to vote out Sarah still.
Yes, yes.
I believe in a couple of the earlier episodes there was some sort of connection that Ali and Billy had prior to the game. I think they were familiar with one another coming in, probably from
Okay.
an org or a couple of orgs.
Hmm.
Um, and they were in that group together as well. So it's like I could see why he would do that. But yeah, Sarah was very not happy with Marcelo and Ali about that.
I know. One thing that I really love about Marcelo is I feel like he's so good at like coming across like cool, calm, and collected. And I feel like he like knows what he's talking about. Like he enters a room and he has like this charisma and this confidence, and he's like, I'm not voting for you, and like I'm gonna do this. Like I don't I feel like Marcelo like is doing well like strategically. At
Yeah,
least based on like what we've seen so far, like I could see him going really far. And
I will say I was worried for Marcelo in this episode because I thought his kind of indecisiveness on not wanting in the beginning, not wanting to
mm,
vote for either of the options.
mm,
And then people were like, should we flip it onto Marcelo? I was like, oh, he might he might get fucked here. But then
yeah,
he got off. He got out of that. So yeah, Marcelo is has been doing really well with that kind of just being kind of calm,
yeah.
which
And I feel like Marcelo has never been in trouble. Like to my knowledge, like has anyone like pitched his name or like genuinely considered like voting him? Like I know this episode they like talked about it, but it didn't really seem to get any traction.
right. But besides that, other than that, he it really hasn't been an issue. So he's been
Yeah.
pretty in the know. But yeah, Carson, I'm telling you, this episode was a doozy. It was so much fun. I think one of my most favorite episodes up to date.
Yeah, I loved it so much. It was cray cray. I love this cast. Like they are playing so hard.
Who are you rooting for, and who do you think at this point, who do you think is going to win the game?
Ugh. Okay, I go back and forth a lot. My like winner choices keep getting voted out, which I think is really funny. Like I thought
Man,
Emily was gonna win for a while because she seemed like she had it all together, and then shit hit the fan. Um, and then I
yes,
also thought that Billy was a pretty high contender as well. And
yes.
look what happened here.
Maybe you
Um,
shouldn't give a winner pick because then they'll
I
tell you.
know I don't want to curse people. But if I had to pick three people, I'm gonna place my bets on Rocky, Taylor, and Kira. Um,
Yes.
I feel like all three of them have just done such an amazing job at like getting people to like trust them and talk to them and like them. And none of them have really ever like truly been at risk of like going home. Like I know their names have kind of gone out, but I've been very impressed with all three of them. Um, so yeah, those would be my top choices.
Those are three top great choices, I think. And I do want to shed a little light on Kira tonight. This is the first time that she actually has been vulnerable to be voted out. And I think she played a great round this round. I think she was really well spoken with the people that she was talking to. You see that conversation with Ali where Ali is telling her, I'm going to be voting for Sarah here. And she's like,
Mm.
okay, that's fine. Everything's fine. And, she ends up voting out Billy anyway, but she is able to like communicate, her reasoning and, it opens the door to working with people that she didn't vote with. So I think that I do really like Kira's game up to this point as well. I think that's a great one of those. All three of those players are people to watch out for.
Yeah, Kira is an amazing player. Like I just did the mini with her, and like socially, she's just so good at like coming across like she's like not doing much, she's just like here for the vibes, but like that girl is thinking and like she knows what she's doing. And like I love that so much about her. Like she would have won the mini if she wasn't voted out. Um and
Well, you can
I
say that about anyone, right?
right, right. But she was like one win away from being at that finale
Yeah.
in the mini. And I think she's playing very similarly in Ascendance like she is in the mini. Um so yeah, I'm very proud of her for that. And I'm rooting for Kira so hard. Like I love her.
Well, Carson, we'll have to see who makes it to the end and wins. Obviously, pleasure getting to catch up and talk a little Ascendance live with you.
Thank
Congratulations on your win in the recent mini.
you.
I was loosely following along on Facebook with all the videos, and
Yeah.
glad you got the dub, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for having me. I love talking about Ascendance and I'm so, so, so hyped to see how the next phase of the game like plays out. I think it's gonna be so juicy.
Yes.